if you want, I'm not sure what this is going to look like, but you could go back to Zoom, and as soon as you end the Zoom meeting is when the live is over. Let's see what this.
So do we go back to Zoom now? Sorry, everyone. All right. Hello, everyone. Terri,
Right now?
on Facebook. Say good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello.
All right. Well, welcome to our 10th broadcast.
I hear a lot of feedback. Are the listeners hearing it too, or just me? Because if it's just me, that's no problem. If someone could say if they are or not.
How's that sound? Any better?
Not for me, but how is it for the listeners?
Seems fine.
Okay, good. So by the time I'm done, my hair will be standing straight on end.
It's funny you mention that because I was thinking of doing that myself. My hair right now is so long, it can go up about this high if I just put my hands through it and lift it up. Kind of a Don King effect.
Well, I was cleaning out the garage, so I have a very beachy wave, dirty dust layer in my hair. So that's what I've got going on.
All right. So welcome to our afternoon live. We're happy to be with you all again. It seems like this is our way to be in touch and communicate, and we miss you all terribly. We miss the phone ringing. We miss our team. We miss our educators. We miss our salons.
We miss everything.
Activity that happens around PSC. Very, very strange to have lights off and the phone not ring. So it's good to be with you this way, though. So there's a couple of topics that we wanted to talk about today, and I think the very first one that we'll talk about is an idea for. Let's go with this one. Let's start with keeping in touch while we're away from the salon. And, that can be on several different fronts, keeping in touch with the owner to their teams, and it can be the stylist and owner to their guests. But certainly, we want to be in touch. We think that there can be some things that happen in this time that wouldn't be positive if we're kind of over communicating. We want to be in touch at least once a week with every person on our team, even though they're furloughed right now or they're on unemployment. They still want to know what you know. They still want to hear from you. They want to be missed, and they want to be connected. So,
well, I think there's an expression that we've used for years, and it's contact is proof of commitment. And just being able to know you're not out there on your own wondering. I mean, how many times have your thoughts just drifted and you're wondering if someone else understands? And so this is the time to really just check in on them and do a temperature read on a scale of 1 to 10. Where's your anxiety level on a scale of 1 to 10? How nervous are you about the future and us working together and having a plan together? Just get a temperature read on it. And I think that's really important. You've got some people that are not fazed by this at all. I'm giving you the example of turbulence. Some people, you go, turbulence, oh, I hate it, oh my gosh. Other people, turbulence, I don't even feel it. So you can have that same problem, perceived problem, be something on a scale of 1 to 10, a 1 for someone and a 10. Find out where your team is right now. That's really key.
well, and that's true, because in your example of turbulence while flying, when you're flying and there's that little bit of a bump, that little bit of turbulence, you want the captain to come on the overhead. Everyone does, even if they
say, everything's good, we're good.
Turbulence. And so thinking in that light, you're the captain of your ship, and that turbulence is happening. there's a lot of different stuff going on every day that the mail comes. It could be something from Unemployment Security Office, IDES, or the Indiana Unemployment Office. And if you're getting it, they're probably getting it, and they wonder. And
Just like we said on Monday, there's some people still having a hard time
there are,
trying to log in. And wow, how frustrating is that? And feeling like, once again, you're out on that island all by yourself because they're checking it with others. Did you register? Did you have any problems? Did you have to wait? And we need to make sure that we're, even if we have to team up with them and say, do this with me on the phone, let's do it together. I think that's huge.
I want to give you an example. While we were talking on just a check-in call with the consultants that call on salons this week, we went around, and it's always, we lead first with care.
Yeah.
Right? So we lead first with care, and then it can be anything else, whatever direction the call will go. But in the care section, one of our teammates said, I got a call from IDES, the Unemployment Security Office, yesterday, and they said that the PSC had contested our unemployment. And of course, we haven't contested anyone's unemployment. And she went on to say, they did say, my caseworker did say that they had also sent an email to Mickey, our HR director. And of course, as soon as we got off the phone, I checked with Mickey, and I told this team member to get on the phone with Mickey right away. There was no contact from IDES to Mickey. And supposedly it was 48 hours that Mickey had to reply, or the unemployment would be declined.
Denied. Yes.
So that was one of those things where that's not why the call was made, but it comes up. It comes up naturally when you're having those calls. If someone's struggling, you want that to come out so that you can do something with it. And Terri says all the time that if you allow people to come to their own conclusion, 9 times out of 10, it's negative. And do you want any of your team in this already unprecedented time, this scary time to be an owner, scary time to be an employee, probably scary time to be a kid too, to be honest.
Well, yeah, and I think that what we've been talking about is, there's certainly delicate times. Certainly there's rhythms that happen in business every year, and usually staffing changes usually happen after the holidays, right? Usually we hear about those in January, early February. But I think during this time, just beef up your leadership in a way, whether you're reciting things, listening to things, giving motivational quotes to them, connecting with them, because if they don't think they're in good hands right now, this would be a time when they would jump your ship. So make sure you are really pounding in what your mission and vision is for them in the future. Or it could be the same mission and vision, but just restating it over and over again.
Sure. And I don't think this is a time, it's not a time for jokes, although humor, the right humor, really is comforting to many people. So the people that you normally maybe text on your team, that you text jokes to or funny memes, I would think about that. Better to get a phone call, better to get a, hey, how are you, text, than to get something that's so lighthearted that it may appear that you're not living in the same shoes. You're not walking in the same shoes as they are, because we all are. Like it or not, we're all walking in the same shoes. Today, it seems that I've looked at business after business that's questioning. A friend of mine posted AMC theaters may not reopen after this. They may close all their theaters nationwide as a result of the damage done to their business through coronavirus. As the time goes on, it's potentially more and more and more and more of things like that. So we have to, again, turn up the contact wherever possible. And I think it'll be of great help. Answer your phone whenever possible, because you don't know when it can be a staff member that's reaching out. I can't tell you the number of people that during this time, since we've been kind of officially, stay at home, where people have said, thank you for picking up your phone. Thank you for answering. I really appreciate it. Just know that's one of those things. And yet at the same time, while I've answered as many as I can, I haven't answered them all. There's been some that came in while I was on the phone with a guest, and haven't been able to get to it. So just be aware. Be aware of that contact as proof of commitment. Be aware of letting people come to their own conclusions, and find ways. And FaceTime whenever possible. WhatsApp has video calls. Google has Hangouts. There's so many different ways. Ring Central is a safer choice sometimes than Zoom, some people believe. So however it is that you choose to do that. So if we said a text, a phone call is better than a text. And a FaceTime call is better than a phone call. So think about that. Be in touch with your people. Know that you're just investing in your future. They want to know. They want care first. They want empathy. I get it. I understand. I may not have all the answers, but we're going to get this. They need that positivity from you.
And I think another thing to address right now, which is unique to everyone, is how do you handle stress during this time? I mean, you and we also handle it very differently. I mean, you are strong like wood, and just go into the turbulence mode. Everything's going to be fine. And
you lost your video, Terri.
All right, hold on. There I am. And we handle it differently. And it was so funny. We were talking to a counselor yesterday, and we were talking about mine. Everything okay out there? Okay. So we were talking about mindfulness, and she said, I gave you an assignment. I need to turn this on mute for a second.
Okay, I think Terry's checking on things at home, and what she was going to say is that she asked, do you take time throughout the day to do something that generally is called mindfulness?
All right, so she said, so she told me, start with your toes and check in with your toes, and then move up to your ankles and move into your knee. And I just told her, I said, that's not me. My toes don't say anything back, and I feel kind of silly. And she said, so how are you doing it? And I said, well, usually when I've got something heavy on my mind, or I come up with solutions, or just have to clean my mind out, but also I'll clean and organize something. She goes, that's very good. That's a form of meditation. And I thought, ooh, good. That's what I've been doing. I've been meditating. And I kind of, where you answer every phone call, I'm trying really hard to stay in the present. And, but I'm hiding a little bit too. And for my mindfulness, not that I'm hiding completely, but I can tell I'm a little off. And I've had staff tell me, I can see this is really weighing on you. And my best friend called me and said, well, you don't sound yourself. Even in the video, you didn't sound yourself. And I thought, really? I mean, I can't notice that big a difference in myself, but other people, here's my house. There we go. There. It must have been thunder and lightning. I'm going to mute for a moment.
Well, while Terry is taming our dog, our guard dog, I'm going to come back in. And just for those of you that may be keeping score, I have not had a haircut or a beard trim. Like some of the people that are in the public eye have had. I did have a little time with my wall clipper and I think it was a 1.5 guard this morning on my beard and a cordless trimmer on my mustache. And so that's all me. It's not, I certainly didn't hijack any of my favorite stylists, and I have not broken the code. I've not broken the code. Still stay in place.
So anyway, tell them how you handle stress. Let's go back to that because I'm wondering how they're doing it. A lot of times, I also will just keep jotting things down on paper. That helps me a lot to process. So,
to me, I heard some things early on. I think that part of the way that I handle stress is the God-given blessing. And it's just the way it's in my DNA to see the positive and to see the reaching of getting through this. I want to, I guess the main thing that when I'm in a stressful situation, I want to get through that stress with no regrets or as fewer regrets as possible.
interesting.
Yeah, I want to get through it with as fewer regrets as possible because you don't want, it's those if onlys or I wish I would'ves that come back to haunt you when the business comes back together. And so that's sometimes easier said than done. What I will tell you is that early on in this particular exercise, I saw the quote that's just stuck with me forever, and it's that by ourselves we can't, but with God we can. Let's replace fear, which is a misuse of our own imagination, with faith, and that's to know that we will get through this with God's help. And I think things have kept me.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's fear, Steve. I'm not saying that faith is in doubt.
I think it's just anxiety, isn't it?
Well, I think so. I think it's every day is different, and I refuse to accept it as just the new normal. It's just very, very different. And the other night, my mom had a bad night, and I walked in. I said, "What is it? What is it?" She's, "I'm very fretful." And that's not a word you hear very often, right? I'm fretful. And then I've thought about that word a lot. And if I had to tell you,
Terry, we're losing a fair amount of what you're having to say. We're not, for whatever reason, we're not having a good connection.
So, all right. So, is that better? Because we have lightning and thunder here. But anyway, what I'm saying about that is fretful is because when you're a planner or you like to see from start to end and thinking about, the only thing I'm thinking about right now is April 30th, and I'm thinking that can be pushed differently, but what can we get done mentally and planning is strategically done for April 30th, before April 30th. And then, because we know once we go back, it's going to be all systems go. I mean, there's going to be little time for planning, I think, once everything comes back into motion.
Mm-hmm.
So taking advantage of this, but I think it's a fretful feeling. It's fretful when you're not yourself. And I think that, if anything, many of us aren't ourselves right now, right? So that creates this imbalance for you that is just not natural. And so that's why, when you think about how you usually presented yourself to your day and what you were going to get accomplished. And all of that is so different. You know, the expectations of the day are different. It's very odd. And then you have to be there for everybody else. So how do we, and really surrounding yourself by like-minded people, leaving, knowing, I think I left a message saying, you know, I wish I could check on my village of people professionally and personally right now. There's so many people you want to check in on. Are they okay? How are they holding up? I mean, I think that's the question you say, how are you holding up? Everyone is asking each other. Well, here's what we need to know for certain. We need to know how our teams are holding up. That is key. Knowing that, you know, I talked to a friend last night. I said, "Hey, buddy, how are you holding up?" And he said, "I'm the same as you, because we're all trying to put this puzzle of emotion back together for us so it makes sense." I think that being there for our team to make sure they're holding up, they've gotten all the things in place that they have. I read an article this morning, I think I heard it on television, that landlords are helping their people and checking on their tenants a lot. It's the same thing.
Terry, I'm going to ask.
And making sure they're okay. Are they eating? Do they have anything they need? Leaving.
Terry, could you move to a different part of the house so that we could maybe hear you better? I think it has to do with the connection on your phone. And I know that people want to hear from you, probably 10 times more than they want to hear from me. So please feel free. And while you're moving around, I'm going to talk a little bit about something that I discovered today just by keeping an open mind. Yeah, I just got a message too. Can't understand you. So here's the thing. I read this thing on Facebook this morning, and I've got to say, my hat's off to this company that I've never heard of. My goodness, they're in the beauty industry. I think they're new to the beauty industry. They make those ring light, but with a mirror. So it's a ring light going around a mirror in the salon. It's called Aura Mirrors, A-U-R-A, Aura Mirrors. They've done a brilliant job of communicating the COVID-19 SBA loans and comparing them and giving you input and giving you some updated information. And when I was reading their information this morning, I made note of something that I wanted to check on when I got in. And it was, if you go to the SBA.gov and go to their COVID-19, their disaster loans and so on and so forth, the very first thing that you need to do is register. You need to set up an account that ties your email and you to whatever you're going to do at SBA from that point on. How do you know whether you did it or not? Well, if you filled out a loan, for example, the EIDL loan, the EIDL loan, and you haven't gotten an email confirmation of it within 3 days, chances are you didn't do that. So what I did when I got here was, of course, check my email. There was nothing in there. And so I went back in, and what they suggested to do and what I did was to refile. First, go in, set up your account. Once you're in that account, logged on, then go to information and apply.
Okay, when people
That way,
are stressed, is this
you'll be
process
given a
easy?
number at the end, but that's also where all your messaging will be. You'll be able to check that every day on that account for your messages. And they'll tell you the status, where it is in the process of the loan. So I thought that was a good little tip that I hadn't heard. I've been wondering, like the rest of you, I've had many of you say, hey, did you hear anything? Did you get an email that said they even received it? And I didn't. And I really think it was because of that. So that's that. Terry, I think we're hearing you better now. Do you want to?
Well, good. I'm freezing now. Jack, bring me a sweater or something. I went outside to see if the connection would be better. I don't even know what points I was making earlier, but if anyone
Okay.
wants to. So just move on.
So we're going to go ahead to the next topic. What we try and do is bring topics to everybody that maybe we've had conversations with several of you about. And I think that there's a lot of you that for the first time are doing e-commerce. As a way to get your, to connect with your guests. What I want you to think about is this: how are you going to compensate, and are you going to compensate your team? Shampoo and a hairspray and a styling product, or any other products that you sell while they're in the salon. And what I think is this, and this is probably the first of, I hope, several suggestions, but it's what comes to mind for me. I think because when you ship something out, you've got an additional cost. I'm not talking about the labor cost to pick and pack it. I'm talking about the cost of shipping.
Expediting, yeah.
Whatever the shipping charge is. So I think the shipping charge to an e-commerce order is much like the service charge on a service in your salon. I would deduct that before paying commission. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you ship out a $50 order to a guest, and your normal commission rate to a stylist for take home is 10%. So these are just suggestions, okay? And it wound up costing you a flat rate of $8 to ship that. So you take the $50 sale minus the $8 and pay commission on the $42. So that 10%, so they'd get $420. That's what I would suggest. And I hope that helps. Didn't want to spend a lot of time on that, but I do know it's going to be it's going to be an ongoing thing as the world moves more to e-commerce.
I think that's fair, and I think that you can explain and help people understand the why you have that formula in place. I think it's fair.
Okay, well, while we're hearing you, what would you like to say to our tribe, to our circle? Because I'd love for them to hear something from you. I know that there's been some frustration because they couldn't hear you.
Well, and I think that the first thing is remember, they can't replace you. Some of you may be thinking about, am I losing guests? Am I losing guests? No, I think they're patient, and I think they're very proud of the salons that they're being serviced in. So touching them and saying, we can't wait to see you, we miss you all, these are things we're thinking about. And I'm okay, sweetie, thank you. And I think that what you need to do is just let them know how much you miss them. And I've seen some really good posts about that. I think that also, while you're going through this time, maybe you're talking about mindfulness. I mean, the beauty industry is one that fusses over the outside, but really beauty is also about fussing on the inside. So maybe adding a mindfulness or a post or something about their faith and just whatever their beliefs are, but just a message of inspiration could be coming your way on a daily basis for wellness and mindfulness. I think that's positive. So we can't touch your hair, we want to touch your heart, and here's your messages, right? So there's so many ways you can do that. Also, think of ideas right now that your people could have, great ideas, and then maybe reward some of the best ideas and turn it into a competition of some sort in a fun way, in a fun way. wow, usually I have a lot to say about what do we do during this time, but I'm also thinking today, I was outside, as I said, I was tidying up the garage and the police officer drove by and I waved to him and he waved back and it was a nod of both appreciation. At the same time, I wanted him to know, I'm so proud that you're working and still driving around. And he almost looked at me like, I'm glad you're home, right? And those things of honoring people, when we look at seeing people in the airports and thanking people in the military for their service, it's the same thing as we're asking people, we're waiting and thanking them for their patience. What's so funny? Did I say
The
something funny?
birds are crystal clear. We hear the birds more clearly than you.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So we must have been part of mindfulness. We needed to hear the birds sing today.
Good.
So we're gonna wrap this up. Apologize for kind of not the usual standard of a mess, the quality.
I'll come in on Friday. How about that?
Okay, so we'll do our normal live on Friday. Thanks to all of you so much. We really do miss you. We really can't wait to welcome you into our home here at PST again on all levels.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to add is, as far as mindfulness, top list of apps that they could be using, also great songs to be listening to during this time. We can be giving them other things that they could use to help them, right? I mean, our massage therapists, they know a lot more. If you have people on staff or your estheticians, they know a lot more about the breathing and such than we do usually. Let's get them engaged and giving them some ideas to bring back peace to our guests. That's another suggestion I have. Okay, we'll see you Friday, right?
So we continue to be alone together. We're in this with you. Stay well, be positive, and we can't wait to see you again on Friday. Thanks.
Bye. Come on, B. Come on, B.